Been feeling kind of bummer? Well, you might be ready for summer. Get ready with me and see these colors bring back your glow. Hi, it's Francesca again, and I am back to finish my makeup look. So you may have seen my earlier video on how to put on mineral foundation so that it looks like skin. And now we're going to add a little bit more color and go for a nice summery look that is geared for my skin tone, but I actually think it could also look good on other skin tones as well. It's a very natural, neutral kind of finish. So for the first color that we're going to put on, I'm going to start off with my eyeshadow, and this is a color called Brilliant. And what it is, it's like a kind of a French vanilla, kind of light yellow, and it makes like for a good base, especially if you do have more golden toned skin. And I'll put it on, I usually just put on like just kind of a large eyeshadow brush like this one. It's not really too large, but it's wide enough because, you know, when you're doing the shadow base, you want to be able to like cover the area pretty well. And I can show you what the color itself looks like. I don't know if you can, there you go. I think that gives you a look of what it looks like. And then so you'll take that, and it's almost like when you do the mineral foundation, you know, you can tap it onto the skin. Now I'm a little bit more daring and dangerous with this one. I don't like to leave the sifters on mine necessarily, because a lot of times I can just kind of dip the brush in. I'm going to show you. So you take that and just like lightly dip the brush in just so you get just a little bit on there. Although I think I did put on a lot. And then you can still take your lid and you swirl. And it's the same thing, you know, just kind of tap the excess. And that has quite a bit of excess there. And so when you have quite a bit of excess, I like to get my paper towel and I just dab it on there. Because otherwise you will have fallout, and that's not good. But if you do, you can always put something underneath your eyes just to keep it. So here we go. So I'm just going to dab it on. And I like to take it all the way almost to the top, like that. And with eyeshadow, you want to just do like a patting it on. Some people like the rolling motion. I don't know, for me, the rhythm on that's a little bit hard. So I just like the patting. And then typically I have my magnifying mirror, but with filming, it's a little hard to get those there because I want to try to like look into the camera as much as I can so you guys can see the right way to do it. So yeah, so that's like my shadow base there. Okay, so let me do the other side now. Okay, tap, 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 tap. Then I put on the other side. And then just kind of take it all the way up almost. Not quite hitting my brow bone, maybe, except maybe like on the inner corners. Okay, I feel like that looks pretty even. Now, as you do your makeup and you find that maybe you are getting some fallout, a lot of times you can just take like your brush and just sort of like lightly maybe whisk it off. It's going to be a little bit harder with the darker colors. So that's why you definitely want to be careful. But I'm going to show you a little technique that we'll do here in just a little bit. Okay, so you can see that gave a nice base to my eyes. It might be on the lighter side. And so if you feel like it does look a little bit too light for your skin tone, the great thing about minerals is you can just mix things up. So you can actually take a little bit of like your foundation and you can run it over. Yeah, one of the things I think got me into mineral makeup making is I love like artistry stuff where, you know, mixing colors, and would have not minded being an artist and not an occupational therapist, but the stability in that was not something I felt comfortable with. But now that I'm older, I can actually work on some of the more creative things. I always have that to fall back on if I need to. Okay, so yeah, so I'm putting a little bit of my foundation just so if it you know, it seems like it might be a little bit light. But one thing I do like about like the yellow is it's a bit like of an eye brightener. So if you feel like you kind of look tired or you need that pick me up, or, you know, you have those people that like to tell you how tired you look, this actually would be a good eyeshadow to wear just to, you know, perk you up a little bit. Okay, and the next color I'm going to use is actually probably my favorite brown, and I think a lot of my customers also tell me it's their favorite, but it's called Noble. And it's like a medium to, yeah, it's about like a medium golden brown. So let me find that here where you can see what it actually looks like in the jar. Let's see if I can, there you go. And if you can see that pretty well. So it actually looks darker, at least it does on my screen there. But I like to use this mainly like around kind of like the crease or like the outer edges. So I know from my eyes, I've always been told try to do like the out, because you can depending on your eye shape, on what you want to do. Like I heard that if you have like a monolid, it's probably not best to put it like around the brow bone like that, because it just makes your eyes just kind of close up even more. But I think they say if you really want to try to open up your eyes, you like add it more to the outer layer. So that's what I think I'm going to do here. And it's going to be tricky for me because, again, I'm kind of used to having like a makeup mirror, but I want to be able to give you guys a good view here, because I'm not really sure. So if any of you are like vloggers for, you know, putting on makeup, if you have a secret, please let me know. So then, yeah, and just put it on there. So one thing I have to say is I am not a professional makeup person. I definitely make makeup. I love to do that. But am I professional? Not really. But I don't know if that's part of the allure of why some of you may want to follow me, is that, you know, I'm not going to do anything too crazy, because it's going to be stuff that I expect you guys to do. And so for me, this is basically what I'm doing. And you can probably relate if I don't get anything completely even. But usually my thing on that is I just keep everything well blended. So, okay, I'm actually pretty happy with that, I think. I know, I hope if there's some of you guys out there that are like, oh, bless her heart, she needs to practice a little bit more. Well, that's exactly what I'm doing. So, but I believe you shouldn't have to wait until you're perfect at everything. I think you get better as you practice. So that's the whole thing of why I'm doing this now. I'm just thinking, just for showing, I was looking at a glimpse of it. It didn't seem like it was dark enough that you could see. But there you go. And I think I'll go up just a little bit higher because I may blend this out. So, okay, so now I'll do a little bit. Now I'm just gonna do the other side. Okay, so it's the same thing. I'm just doing the blending. And no, I may even like speed this up for you. I don't know if you guys like that. Some people want to see like the whole thing. Now if I do like a little quick thing for maybe Instagram, I will definitely do those as a reel. This is why I decided I prefer being on YouTube, because I like to take my time. I want to be able to explain, and you know, if you don't catch somebody in those first 3 seconds on Instagram or TikTok, it's like your video just like goes to the graveyard. And unfortunately, a lot of mine were going there just because there's, I don't know, I think there's a lot of information I like to get out there that it's not made for the attention spans of those on Instagram and TikTok. I mean, I don't think you're bad if you watch it or like being on there, because that is more of like entertainment. You know, YouTube is definitely more for tutorials and, you know, seeing more specifics of things. Okay. Yeah, so this is just like very basic. Like I don't even know how even that looks, because I mean my eyes aren't really, to be completely honest, like super even anyway. And so let me see. I'm gonna probably get really close here. Okay, well, that's what we'll do. So once you have that, I'll take maybe like another brush that's a little bit fluffier. This is just a kind of a fluffy eyeshadow brush. And I may just like blend out any harsh edges. Okay, I think that's good enough. Like I don't know if do I have any fallout here? If I do, I just kind of brush it away. Okay. So one of the things now, I do wear like a regular eyeliner too. I'll get just like a little stick eyeliner that I'll use. I think this one I got like on like Amazon somewhere, just not very expensive. I do like to do like the tight line under my eyes, but if we're going to try to keep it as natural as possible, I'm going to use this method. So the color that I would use for an eyeliner, especially for something natural and that, you know, you don't really want to do black, which that's what this is. But I think if you tight line, it's not bad. So like when I tight line, I just kind of like go underneath, but I'm not actually going to do that for this one. I'm going to stick with a color that I call Tenacious. And it is a deep, dark, kind of a, I don't know, like a really chocolatey, dark chocolate brown. And let me see, I think this is it right here. Yeah. You can see it's really nice and it just makes me want to get a dark chocolate bar when I see it. So this is what I would use as an eyeliner. You can also, I mean, you definitely can use it also as an eyeshadow. I mean, it's meant to be an eyeshadow, but I personally like to use it as eyeliner. Now, this is one of those, this is like something you can use if like you're wanting to foil eyeshadows or if you're wanting to like turn into eyeliner. And basically all this is some distilled water and some glycerin, I believe. And I'll post the recipe up here for you. And I just take like a few drops of it. I put it on my lid. I think 2. We'll try 2 little drops. And then you'll take your brush. I usually just dip it right into the jar and get some on there, and you can see how much. Oh, sorry, I missed it. It's about what I have, because you do actually want to pick up quite a bit. It's unlike the minerals when you're putting it on your face, but when you're foiling it, you want a little bit more because then you want to mix that in. And then you can, I don't know if you can see how it's mixing in like that. And can you see that little bit of a bubble? Part of that is like, now I believe in my minerals, I do use like the water dispersible. So they should be compatible where they disperse, because there's the titanium that is oil dispersible and it may not mix as well. So depending on the mineral makeup you use, it may not work as well. Now this looks, let's see. So let me just test it out on my hand. Okay, that kind of works. That's what that looks like. So this is just something, now again, this might be hard for me. This is the first time I have practiced it, but, and so you just put it on your eyes like your eyeliner. Like that. I don't really do the flick just because I can't ever seem to get them even enough. So, I mean, I've done it before, but to me, it's just easier. And I think I like the technique better where you just kind of, you know, line your eyes and you make the middle a little bit thicker. And it gives you like maybe wider, like doe eyes. And I kind of like that look better anyway. Okay, let me do the other side. There we go. Okay, and then I do like to add a little bit more to where, let's see, I feel like they're not quite even. Okay, you can also do the underneath as well, like that. Now I always like to smudge my eyeliner. I don't really like hard lines, at least connect it with the top. Oh, see, I'm already smudging it. This is what I mean. I'm not a professional, but I'm just trying to show you like a nice summer look. Okay, so yeah, what I like to do, I like to go back to my round contour. And it still has a little bit of Noble on there, which I actually like to use that to help smudge. It makes it a little bit more of a cohesive look. I know, sorry if I'm making weird faces. Okay, a little bit more. Try to do the other side, because I know that one did not have as nice of a fine line as the other one, but ultimately it's not going to matter because I'm going to smudge it out anyway. This is that kind of shadow look. Sometimes I just do. I don't have my Q-tips. It's probably what I would have normally done. Okay, so that's what I do for that. Now the other thing I like to do is I do like to fill in my eyebrows. So if you have dark eyebrows like me, I like to use a color called Genuine. And this is what it looks like in the pan. And it's very similar to the color that a makeup artist told me to use for when you fill in your brows. So this one, you could use a little bit of that if you wanted to stay on better. For me, I'm okay with using it as a powder. So let me find my brush that I use for it. I think, oh, here it is. I like this one. This actually is like a nice slanted synthetic brush. It's nice, and what I like about it is it has like stiffer bristles than like your regular hair bristles. And this is one you just dip in, or if you do the tap method, again, I don't keep the sifters on mine, but you just like tap a little bit. And then even with this one, I will like work it in, and then you'll be able to see. I just fill in my brows that way. If you did want something darker, you probably could mix this one with Tenacious, because if you need something a little bit darker than that, if you prefer the darker look. I like something just softer, so this is why I use Genuine. Just lightly fill it in, just where you have some bare spots. I'm kind of a naturalist when it comes to brows. I don't really like the overly like threaded look. And that's fine if that's what you do like. I don't judge you at all. I just know for me, I prefer like not doing a whole lot to them. For one, it's easier maintenance. So here we go. Okay. So yeah, it's a subtle difference. I guess if you were to do like a side by side before and after, which hopefully we will have a good shot of. And that's what we're doing there. Again, I'm not seeing this in a magnified state, but hopefully, because it looks okay on the camera and in the mirror, but that's what it looks like there. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, we're just going to do some blush, and then probably be done. We'll have my lip balm on. Actually, I want to go ahead and put a little bit of lip balm. So this is our Nourishing Lip Balm. It's very smooth. I had reformulated this because the other one I had was a little bit too thick, and it didn't work as well with the blushes, because I like to do a lot of mixing of my lip balms with my blushes and even some of my bronzers. Okay, so the color that I'm using for my blush is a color called Vibrant. So it is like a kind of a nice natural peach. I don't know if you can see it. I think, again, it looks a little bit dark, but I like it. It has like a hint of a pink to it. So it's not completely like orange or coral. And so it's the same thing. Now this one, as you can see, I took the sifter off. You would just like do a little bit in there, but what I do is I shake it, tap, and then I just use what's on the lid. Now, I also love to use these dual fiber brushes, and this is a brush that I still carry at Adorned with Grace, and it was specially made for my company. I just happen to like using these because the way that a dual fiber works is that you can see the black bristles, those are shorter, and then the white bristles are, they're kind of scattered, so that way you're not picking up too much product. Because one thing, I definitely don't like clown face, when you have too much blush on. But yeah, you would just take this, and then you can just do, and you can see, that cloud of smoke like what I had, you don't really want that either. And it's okay, because like with a dual fiber, it makes putting on blush a little bit more foolproof. So there's different methods to how you would put on your blush. I've always been told smile, and then you can like put it on, but I will put it on a little bit higher then I don't just put, like, I can just put it like right on my cheek, I suppose. But here, I'm just gonna put it like that. Yeah, and then like in person, I actually have a lot, and with the lights, it doesn't seem like a whole lot. So I may actually put on more just so you can see what it would look like, because like what it looks like on camera, I want it to look like how it would look like if you saw it in person. So unfortunately for that, I actually have to put more on. Okay, so this one, same thing. It's kind of smile, but again, do a little bit and go up a little. Now, if you are into doing things like contouring or adding bronzer, especially for summer, which I probably should have done for this look, just adding a little bit of that warmth, you can do that. And again, it's going to depend on your face. I don't know if I'm one to tell you where to contour, where to add, but I know for bronzer, you know, you can just like put it around your nose. Just think of areas where the sun would hit you. And for me, for the blush, it's just kind of adding some of the color, right? Okay. So now if I feel like the blush is like too heavy, because like I know in real life it looks really heavy, but under the lights it's not too bad. You can just blend it with your flat top again, or whatever kabuki brush you use. So like that. And there we go. Okay. And then, like I said, you know, we did like the lip balm. I will take some of my blush, and sometimes I'll use a lip brush. I don't know that I brought one here. I think that's one of those things I forgot to do, but it's okay. I mean, you can use your finger and just put it on, because it's supposed to just look like a natural, because again, I don't really like my lips too heavy, especially for summertime. I mean, I really like more sheer colors anyway. This is just to tie in with my blush. And it's summer, you don't really want to get too heavy. But that's pretty much the look, and I may add a little bit of mascara, and I will show you the complete look with my hair even down. Okay. All right, so this is what it looks like. So I hope you like it, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and that way you can keep up and watch me grow, and hopefully you'll see some colors and looks that you like that you may want to copy for yourself, and I would love to see them as well. If you have a YouTube channel, put it in your comments and we'll take a look as well. Thank you so much. Bye. I am adored.